Joining me now is Bolvin Wealth Management Group President Gina Bolvin. Gina, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. What do you make of these markets this week? Give us your outlook for the rest of the year.
Good morning, Maria. Well, this is the correction we've been waiting for. It took a while to come, but it's here. I think this is a buying opportunity. Have we reached the bottom? It's hard to tell. Bottoming is a process. We were expecting slower growth this year. We think that GDP will be about 2%, but we still, while the economy's slowing, we don't think it's falling off a cliff. We still see that the consumer is hanging in there. The job market, as we saw last Friday, is pretty stable and strong. The report was a little bit mixed. Most importantly, wages are staying ahead of inflation. And we think that it could be a good year in the market. It's just going to take all year.
You know, it seems to me that the Producer Price Index report takes on even more importance this morning, given the tariff backdrop and whether or not we're seeing higher input costs for corporations. What is your expectation for the PPI this morning?
Well, I think the PPI, my clients aren't really worried about the PPI. Yesterday, we saw the CPI, consumer inflation, and that added a nice bump to the market because it's come down. The PPI won't yet reflect the tariff concerns and possible inflation from tariffs, but it's one data point to watch. I think the number one issue right now is tariffs and the growth scare that we're seeing.
Yeah, do you think we'll see a recession this year, Gina?
I don't think so. I think the odds have increased. We put odds of a recession at 20%, but I don't think that we'll see a recession. I think the economy is slowing, but it's not falling off a cliff.
Okay.
And really, it's consumer spending, and the high-end consumer accounts for 50% of all spending, and they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
But there also is a silver lining, Maria. When the consumer slows, there's less demand and inflation comes down, and we're closer to getting those rate cuts that the market really wants.
Yeah. How many rate cuts are you expecting, and how are you investing today, Gina? Tell us how you allocate capital.
So we're expecting 2 to 3 rate cuts this year, starting in June.
Okay.
And right now, we're still expecting Trump's pro-growth policies to be a positive force to the market and offset some of the tariffs.
Okay.
We're expecting deregulation. We're also expecting extension of the tax cuts. And so we like financials, and we would invest in financial stocks. They've had a big drop. We think this is a good opportunity. And we still really like communication services, Maria. There's a lot of earnings growth in that sector. So we would have a diversified portfolio in barbell, large cap growth, along with large cap value stocks.
Yeah, let me bring Mark Tepper in, because Mark, yesterday at the end of the show, we had breaking news. I was in touch with President Trump, and President Trump told me that he actually spoke with Mickey Bowman and told her she had the vice chairman of the Fed job, and that includes bank overseeing, supervision of the banks. That should be a big positive for the banks. You're just talking about the banks this morning, but they have been under pressure because of Michael Barr and his regulations. So maybe this is a positive for the banks.
And certainly it's going to promote deregulation, which is obviously going to be a great thing for the banks. And when the banks are in a better position, then they are more likely to be willing to loan money to small businesses and consumers, which is great for the economy as a whole. Gina, just a quick question for you. What do you think it's going to take to resume this bull market? Because over the last few years, investors have embraced AI as a theme. They've embraced GLP-1s as a theme. All of a sudden, the only theme they're paying attention to are tariffs and the potential of a recession. So what needs to happen?
Mark, we need to get clarity on tariffs, and that's really the big issue right now. And this could be over. This could be over soon. And I think if we settle on just reciprocal tariffs, I think we're going to be okay. But we need to see some of these pro-growth policies come into play. And I think that we could finish the year, 14% higher from where we are now.
Okay, well, that's a pretty sweet return.
Wow.
Gina, great to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Gina Bolvin. Quick break and then a government shutdown. All but